All right, Robert, you know what? It's an exciting time for our real estate chatters.
What particularly?
Well, it's because it's back to school time.
Oh,
And back to school, back to work. Summer's over. Sad news. And on this episode of Real Estate Chat with
Robert Eade.
and John Der Perez, we're going to ask the question that all of you want to know, and maybe it's a bit too late for some of you watching this. Does school rank affect property values in the area you want to live in? Robert, what's a quick answer to that question so that we don't
Yes,
take up too much of our viewers' time? If
yes,
you're buying into a particular neighborhood, does school rank affect values?
of course. There's good schools, get the good parents, and get the good prices.
Good being subjective. We're not going to go into what good or bad is, but you know what? Let's look at
Academic performance is good.
academic performance is good, neighborhoods good, et cetera, et cetera. What we're going to do is I'm going to share two resources with all of you who are watching our channel. Make sure you subscribe so you can follow along. First one is the school rankings. Robert, you're familiar with this. The Fraser Institute. So basically what they do is they take the tests that our grade threes and grade sixes and high schoolers write every single year. And I wrote this long time ago. Robert, I don't know if you wrote this back when you were in school, but
So there
basically,
was no such thing as the Fraser Institute. There was no Fraser River even then.
oh, okay, well, there you go. So what they do is they take that the scores, however they obtain that data, who knows, but then they rank the schools based on this. So they're using pure data to rank schools. Now, what we're going to do today is show you just a quick example of does school ranking affect neighborhoods. And we're going to start with, if you look at, let's pick Markham, for example, right? So if you're picking Markham secondary schools, and here's the map view of it, we're going to include a link in the show description. Let's look at a list view. So if you're looking at a list view, by the way, just to give a bit of a preface for this, the reason why the most recent school ranking scores are based on 2018, 2019, does anybody recall? Robert, do you know why?
I guess they took a holiday when it came to COVID.
That's right. So due to COVID, they didn't do the tests during the past 2 years. They've only resumed it. So the most recent scores would be 2018, 2019. So a place like Markham, where you've got, if they consider it a good score, they're all greens. The somewhat okay ones are in, I guess this is yellow or orange. But when you relate that to property prices, we then jump to something as simple and accessible to everybody here as the Toronto Regional Real Estate Board report for July 2023. August one is coming up too. And you can just pull comparisons based on, this is publicly available, we'll link it to all treb areas, all home types. You look at something like Markham, you see an average price of 1.368. Now, Robert, I know this is overly simplistic, and we'll get Robert's analysis into this afterwards. But then let's pick an average price for all home types, condos, towns, detached, semis, etc. And we'll pick Oshawa, let's say, where the average price is 829,759. And let's go to secondary schools now in Oshawa. Again, there's no bias. We're not trying to do anything. We're purely looking at stats and what's available as public information. But you look at the school rankings now in Oshawa, and you've got yellow or oranges, and then I guess this is red, right? And so that basically implies that the standardized testing that they do academically, English, mathematics, scores are not as high. And if you're looking at, let's go to Oakville, let's say, for example, 1.5 million is the average price. So higher than Markham, higher than Oshawa. And we type in Oakville. And we look at school rankings there. So again, a lot of greens, a lot of high ranks. Now, mind you, Markham has the number 2 secondary school in all of Ontario. Oakville, with a higher price point, their highest ranked schools are tied in 10th place. So we can do this all day. We'll send you the link in the description. You can click on it, play around with it. If you're a parent, you've locked into your school already, you had no idea about this, maybe you're happy with the result, maybe you decide to make a move in the next year. But Robert, let's hear your analysis about is this a correlation? Am I just making this up because I want to see data that I like? Why do schools affect the property values in an area?
Well, it's one of the components in supply and demand. If we look in North York, there's Earl Haig and there's A.Y. Jackson High School. And those schools developed a reputation for being good public secondary schools. And the feeder schools that lead into that secondary school, it's a catchment area. That's what they call it, catchment. And so the neighborhoods that are part, where the homes are built within the catchment area, attract parents who feel that having their student attend first class high school is in their best interest for the rest of their life. And so they, no matter what the age of the children are, they buy within that catchment area. So they'll go to the elementary schools, or they'll go to the middle school, or what do they call it, junior high, and then they'll end up in the high school. And so normally a parent who buys on purpose pays a premium. And often the people who are parents who place a premium on education are well educated themselves. And if you look at the school built inventory around those, the homes, the built inventory around those schools are also of a large size rather than of a small size. They're not all townhouses. There will be townhouses in the A.Y. Jackson catchment area, but the original neighbors demanded a good school. They got a good principal. They demanded good teachers, and so the school developed a reputation, even though it was only 2 or 3 years old, and that continued and self-perpetuated. So why do they price higher? It because the built neighborhood around a good school indicates the type of person who will be buying there.
And there was a point too when the inventory was very tight, and Markham, because that's an area that I'm most familiar with. Robert, you're familiar with all areas, Toronto most specifically as well. Multiple offers when the inventory was so low in places like Pierre Elliott Trudeau as a school, and a lot of parents are literally looking at first, what's the school there? What's the ranking of the school there? Then what's the house? Not even, hey, nice house. What's the school? And so it's not to say either, Robert, right, that there's no kids who excel at any of these schools where when you look at the average score ranked the way they do, it's more of a reflection of, I guess, how would you put it? A reflection of the majority or the masses, or what?
It's a reflection of the demographic of the parents. If you don't know beans about anything in a neighborhood, all you know is the school, then you go for the good school. Why would you go for the lousy school?
Oh, it's as simple as that.
Yeah.
Right. So
unless you can't afford it, then you go to the second best school.
Well, so then that's a great question, is if you're, and this is what our real estate chat viewers are probably looking for. Like, let's say, for example, you're watching us right now and you've just got kids, newborn kids, and you're looking at, maybe you're living in a condo or a townhouse right now. What's my next move? Or maybe you've got kids that are now entering high school and you're asking yourself, okay, how do I put them in the best academic environment? If that is your priority, then you've got to look at, and I wanted to go more specific into this by pulling up 2 actual listings, but because of privacy laws, and Toronto Regional Real Estate Board will probably say, hey, why did you put that house out there? And also bias. So I'm leaving our real estate chat viewers with this assignment. Robert and I want you to go to realtor.ca, look at we'll link the Fraser Institute's website there as well, and pull up what a $1.5 million house looks like in a high-ranked school area, and what a 1.5 looks like in a mid-rank, and what 1.5 buys you in a low rank. And it won't be a coincidence that you'll find that maybe you've got a mansion in an area where maybe the school rank isn't as high, right? And at the high end, maybe you're only being able to buy a townhouse for that 1.5. There's always been a curiosity as to, if all things were equal, 1.5 should get you the same type of house everywhere. Robert, any other points you want to add to that?
Well, the results of that in-person survey will be informative. You and I should both independently do that and then compare notes and see whether it's a 10% variance between A, B, and C, or whether it's a 2% or whether it's a 20% between A, B, and C.
So maybe I've opened up a can of worms, and maybe I've opened up something that we can sort of look into further. So if real estate chat viewers watching this like the idea of maybe Robert and I do an analysis of this, give us a thumbs up. And if you've got personal experience in, searching for the neighborhood that you wanted your kids to go into, and you found this correlation between price and school ranking, leave a comment. If you disagree, leave a comment too. And again, it's not to say that there's no kids who excel in any of these ranks, right? And I know my own personal history. I'm not saying I'm a genius or anything. But of course, there's going to be kids that do well in an environment. But if you're looking at purely statistical information and purely empirical data, property prices, school rankings, correlation. Thank you so much for watching this episode of Real Estate Chat. We hope your kids enjoy their back to school, and hope you follow us for more episodes of Real Estate Chat. Bye for now.
Bye for now.